I stumbled upon this gem, a 28-unit apartment building in Atlanta. But hold on, there's a twist. It's labeled as recently renovated, but take a look at this roof.
Gotta be kidding me.
Not a great sign. That's gonna need to be replaced. So I got to crunching numbers, and I even brought Google Maps into the mix. We're trying to measure that roof. Let's be real. It won't be super precise, but it'll give us an idea long before we start calling any contractors to give us quotes. So I went ahead and measured all the distances, and here's the kicker. That picture is flat. The roof is pitched. Based on the pictures, it looks like it's a 6-on-12 pitch, which means for every foot of distance, it rises by 6 inches. So even though we measured 12 feet, it's more likely 14. And after doing some calculations, we're looking at roughly 3,400 square feet. But here's the real deal. Roofs are measured in squares, each being 100 square feet. That's the standard. So when we do the math, it turns out to be 34 squares. The cheapest I've ever seen shingle roofs go for is $350 a square. We're here in Atlanta. Let's be real. It's probably going to cost us more like $500 a square. So all in, we're 17 grand. Chump change on a property like this. But it's good to keep in our back pocket for when we start negotiating later. More importantly, we got to see if this property can cover all of its expenses and pay the mortgage. So I rolled up my sleeves and dug deep into the numbers. I extracted them from the PDF and put them into an Excel spreadsheet for a clearer view. Now, assuming we put down 25% and an 8.5% interest rate, ouch, it's losing a staggering $70K a year. But hang on, we ain't throwing in the towel just yet. We're here to explore options. One way we might be able to generate some extra revenue is by setting up a coin laundry. But when I poured over the income section, I'm guessing this is where they talk about additional income. Besides, it would take a boatload of laundry loads to make up for $70K. Now, there's a glimmer of hope. The broker insists we can jack up the rents by almost $100 per unit per month. But let's break it down. If we peek at the demographics, the average household income is 60 grand per year. Crunching the numbers, it turns out that the tenants are already forking out roughly 30% of their take-home pay in rent on average. It's starting to get on the steep side, considering we typically aim for about 25%, and if we raise it to what the brokers claim is market rate, we'd be looking at tenants paying around 34% of their take-home pay in rent. That can cause some issues, not just with leasing, but also potentially with tenants defaulting on rent. Oh, and by the way, YouTube says most of the people who are watching this video aren't subscribed, so if you find this video interesting, please subscribe. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later if you wind up changing your mind. They're also pitching the idea of expanding this property by 2 to 4 units. Let's not get too carried away. It's not just about adding more units. We need to buy land, deal with permits, do environmental studies, site work, and build at around $250 per square foot. Now that's just to make a larger investment. In order to increase our profit margin, we'll have to do it for less than that. In today's market, building anything for that isn't a reality, let alone making a profit on top of that, land included. And unlike if we doubled the size, going from 28 to 32 units won't make the building any more appealing to future buyers. But remember, this place was labeled as recently renovated. The apartments look pristine, but the finishes are kind of cheap and trendy. Not built for the long haul. It seems more like they wanted to make a cool place to live and maybe flip the property to the next owner. Now that's just all my opinion, which doesn't matter at all from an investment perspective. But one day, this is gonna become this. So we're gonna have to renovate these much more quickly than if there was something more timeless. But forget about that. Let's dive back into the numbers and see if there's something I missed. Something pretty great I noticed. They've been upfront about the property management costs, saying it at 6% and also adding leasing commissions. That's probably realistic for a property of this size. You'll often see people throwing out numbers between 3 and 5%, but those aren't really realistic. Their vacancy factor is set at 3%, which is much lower than the industry standard of 5. So if we do the math, that 3% equals about 10.6 months of vacancies. That doesn't seem all that unreasonable. There's usually about a month between turnovers, and we're turning over a third of the units per year. Ultimately, we'd like to dig in and see their current and historic vacancies. But that's all stuff for due diligence. And then we have reserves, or basically a savings account to fix up the place in the future. It's not something that you typically find in an NOI statement, but it's nice to see they've included it. However, I'd say it's a bit low. After 10 years, you'd have about 35 grand. What's that gonna do in a property like this? It's about $1,000 a unit. So when we tally up the numbers, even with a 60% down payment, this property doesn't seem to cash flow that well. If you paid cash for it, you'd be looking at a 6% return, which isn't great at all. I mean, you can snag a 5.6 return on a AAA corporate bond with almost no risk and zero management. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this one might be a tough nut to crack.